You do know a lot of Japanese scientists, though.
I do.
Hey,
And
they love sauerkraut.
Hey, they talk like this. So I'm about to go get some more scientific evidence. Oh.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And that's why I think Phil Collins' song "You'll Be in My Heart" is all about cannibalism. You gotta watch those fatty meats, guys. They really clog the arteries.
Fatty meats.
You'll be in my heart. You'll be.
He did the hungry chomping cannibal.
Yeah.
I love that. Good job. Well, hey, how's it going, you guys?
Good job. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Your intro was in good taste.
That's the second time
God.
I've done 2 intros and only one's made it in.
I mean, it's a little rough, I will say. So anyway, welcome to the Beacon House Podcast out there, everybody. Hey, thanks a lot. Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Good. Hey, come on. So
one away from number 50, right?
Yeah, number 49. Holy shit, you guys believe it? Like, this is a big deal. Yeah, almost our 50th episode. That's crazy to me, considering we do one a week. That also means we're nearly at like the 1 year mark.
Yeah.
So nuts.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, totally crazy, you guys.
And to celebrate our almost 1 year mark, our live show's coming up right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go ahead and talk about at the top of the episode.
Just a couple of days away.
That was
Yeah.
nicely done.
Or maybe a week away.
Holy shit.
From now, maybe a week away.
February 13th is when it's going to be, the day before Valentine's Day, down at
Desperation
Central
Day.
Depot in Knoxville. You guys got to come down there and see us, 8 to 11. And we're going to do some things.
Do some stuff.
Yeah.
Do some stuff.
You can tell we're not exactly sure what the fuck we're going to do yet, but
I have a few ideas that I want to do.
yeah, we're going to
during
try to
the
make it entertaining. And more than anything, I got to say, guys, what we'd like more than anything is you guys just show up, have a couple drinks or not, depending, whatever, just show up and talk with us.
We're definitely going to have a Q&A. That's something we've for sure have put
Yeah.
in. So we're going to have a mic set up. We actually have a pretty big news. We're featuring the Geezer Brewing guys.
Yeah, that's official now. Geezer's Brewery is officially on board. They're going to co-sponsor the event. And
I'm so excited.
I am excited too. They make wonderful products and a bunch of great guys. I haven't actually met them yet. You know them.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't know 'em.
They are all 3 wonderful gentlemen. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be fun for
Our
sure.
bro from Central Depot, Will, talks very highly of them. And our other bro that's been on the podcast, Hannah Isasaki, said that they're great guys. And so we're dying to like hang out with them. And we actually didn't we talk about them real early? Weren't they on episode 1 when we were talking about beer?
I think so. When we talked about new breweries opening up in town.
Yeah, you mentioned Geezers. Okay. Yeah. Dude, totally. These
the
guys
first beer I had by them is a pudding stout. They have a chocolate pudding stout.
Yeah,
I
pretty
don't know
good.
if it's going to be there for Central Depot. I don't want to put that pressure on them.
I
but
had one of theirs
phenomenal.
somewhere here locally. It wasn't at Central Depot, it was somewhere else, but it was
You had
fantastic.
the porter, didn't you?
Maybe porter or pilsner or something, or maybe a blonde. It was rad. It
Yeah.
tasted fantastic. So yeah, we're excited to have Geezer's Brewery on board, and we're going to talk with them. And ideally, we get a live podcast out of this, which you guys can go back and listen to later.
Hopefully film a little bit, put something on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which that's another thing.
So come ready to make a spectacle.
One more thing. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers or more on our YouTube page. So if you're listening to this and you've not subscribed to our YouTube page,
right.
why don't you head on over there? Just go to YouTube, type in the Beacon House Podcast. You'll see our logo. Pull it up, hit subscribe.
Yeah,
Let's get to 100.
our social media correspondent, Vari Wyman, who was on the podcast last week, made it a big point to let us know we've got to have at least 100 YouTube subscribers in order to get better things. Apparently, that's going to do a lot of stuff for our channel. So, yeah. If you know anybody that maybe likes the podcast or whatever, make sure that you tell them to just subscribe. They don't even have to listen, but it'd be great if they did listen. But the more subscribers we get, a lot of great things start happening in our YouTube channel. So
just to recap before we hop into this, because I have something I have to apologize to Spencer for, and I'm kind of taking my time here. But
I have no idea what this is. I'm so weirded out by this.
Live show, February 13th from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Central Depot.
That's right.
Geezer Brewery is now featured as going to be hanging out with us and selling some cold beers that night. Also, YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 so we can get an official YouTube site. URL, I guess, is what it's called.
Yeah. It'll be easy for people to find us because it'll actually, I think, have our name in it or something. So.
And then also our live show, we're doing a Q&A. So bring your questions. We're going to get you up, stand up in front of us, in front of people, ask us some silly questions. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great night.
That's right. And even if it's not a silly thing too, like I know I talk to a lot of people on the weekly, as they say. I've never actually said that until now, but on the weekly, I talk to people that have comments about episodes. Like sometimes people are going back through the older episodes and they go, "What about this? Did you ever think about this? Or do you ever think about that? Or well, I noticed you guys said this, but I was thinking this," and blah blah blah. Bring
those,
it.
Yeah, bring those.
We would love to
Bring
talk to you about whatever like some of the stuff that we talked about, we've thought about it a lot and we really mean it. And sometimes there's a lot of conviction behind it. Sometimes we're just talking shit.
Yep.
And if you guys must know, I've been going back and listening to every single episode for a particular segment I might or might not do in the live show, where I pull random ass comments or questions or quotes that we say throughout the episode. And I've got some doozies, by the way.
Do you
that
really?
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and I want to ask these guys and see if they know who said it.
Oh,
between
God.
all
I have
three
a
of
feeling.
us.
I have a feeling Casey's going to show up to the live show just fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
yeah.
all kinds of fun stuff. And
I've
we're just
been
going to be
wanting
like
to do this.
trained monkeys. You know?
I've been wanting to do this live show since the very first episode we recorded. I was like, I cannot wait until someone gives us a chance to get up on stage and do a live show. I am so excited.
I love the idea of being able to do live shows more often.
Yeah.
Just semi-frequently, like maybe do the private room for interviews, like one-on-one interviews, but otherwise just get out there and have all you crazy bastards screaming and hooting and hollering and
That's right.
throwing bottles at the table.
Yeah, so
and
just come
everything.
out and see us, man. Even if you just come shake our hand, we would love to hear what you have to say. And we also would like to move forward from the live event, not just with a new level of understanding about our audience and things that you want us to discuss and talk about, but also we would like for you to leave the live event with a wonderful appreciation for Central Depot, one of the greatest bars in town, and also for Geezer's Brewery, a wonderful local business that's doing good things around here. So we want this to be like a nice little fireside chat.
Hell yeah. All right, I've put it off long enough. I have to apologize to Spencer.
I don't know what this is about.
I have shit on Apple products almost my entire existence of knowing technology.
This is it. This is the big one.
And recently, I needed to get a computer or a laptop of some sort that I could edit audio on. I want to start helping Spencer edit some of these podcasts. I want to get a vlog going for our channel. Hopefully get one maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks of us or just me doing something extremely one topic based vlog kind of thing per episode.
Yeah.
I want to be able to edit those. I don't have to put that, burden on anybody else. And so I went and I got myself a MacBook Pro, and it's so good.
You
It's
digging it?
so good.
I remember I saw you the night you got it, and you were sort of just like, you were kind of just like getting in the pool. And I remember that. I remember the first time I got a Macintosh computer that was like, there was like a week where my life just didn't make sense. Like it was so fucking weird, like figuring it. And then all of a sudden it was like, it just all.
I'm still figuring things out.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
intuitive. I'm not used to having things to where you could just like hold down and then like quit out. Like I'm used to PCs.
Sure.
So this is different, and I'm
Right.
still learning, but man, I fucking love it. God, it's
They're
so
pretty
good.
cool, man. For video production and audio production and stuff, like it's kind of. I don't know how people get around it, but they're pretty neat, man. And again, it's not the be all end all. And I've probably complained about Apple products as much as I've endorsed them. I don't work for Apple. Like the iPhone pisses me off every single year when they come out with a new one. They just want you to buy all this extra shit. And like, I get it. Apple's crooked just like everybody else. Like, but just solely talking about the machines alone. Like I learned from being in bands where you're trying to record on like a fucking Dell or something like that. And man, it can be tough. It could be really, really. I mean, the upper end of anything is probably going to be super functional.
Yeah.
Like I've seen PCs that are extremely, extremely intuitive, like they're dedicated digital audio workstations, and that's fine. That's great, whatever. But I mean, like, if you had to have one laptop in your bedroom with like to try to do all your like DIY type production on, I don't know, man. It's hard to beat a Mac.
I've already pulled up like GarageBand and, video editing stuff, and
Yeah.
I've looked at it. Looks so much easier than things that I used on my old laptop,
not
my
bad.
PC. So it
not
seems
bad.
a lot more user friendly.
Yeah. And a lot of cool like outboard stuff is proprietary. Like the little breakout box we use here to record this podcast doesn't require a driver. If you plug it into a Mac, it just knows what to do.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the companies kind of like, they work together really well.
But yeah, so I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I've crapped on you for always supporting Mac, and I've been like, Apple sucks. I hate Apple products. And I got myself a MacBook Pro, and I'm like, shit, this is awesome.
And again, I don't care if anybody likes Apple or doesn't like Apple. Just,
I still think I like my Android phone better than an Apple phone, though.
I get it.
I think it's the customization.
These days, there's so.
Yeah.
I mean, man, like in 2009, like literally there was like one smartphone worth having, and it was an iPhone.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2010, 11. But like nowadays, man, like there's a lot of great phones. Like we've been talking a lot about the, I think it's the Google Pixel, whatever that one that takes the crazy pictures. God, it's amazing. I saw a friend of mine, Brandon Cagle, had one, and he was just like, man, look at the pictures this damn thing takes. And it's nuts.
Well, it's like my LG. We just recorded a little video on this.
Sure.
And it looked great.
Yeah,
I was
fantastic.
pretty shocked.
It's almost a GoPro. I mean, they're great. So the gap is narrow between the different technologies and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Use what you like.
Use what you like.
I don't give a fuck.
What are you laughing about?
Except when it comes to guitar cables. There's one particular kind of guitar cable you should buy. I digress.
Spencer's cable. Is it Spencer's cable or Spencer cable?
It's just Spencer cable.
Spencer cable.
Spencer's cable could be a euphemism.
That's
we don't
true.
want that.
Yeah. You just shot a porn. Thanks.
You want Spencer's cable? He'll bring Spencer's cable. In fact, Spencer's cable will be at the live show.
Ew.
We
I don't like this conversation.
You won't have to pay.
Look, he's crossed his arms. He's done. He doesn't want to do this anymore. What's this you got here? What is this? Bang bullet? Is this bulletproof coffee? But
Does it say
coffee
bang?
form?
I thought it was ang.
Yeah. That's a
Bang.
I didn't see the B.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had these in
Jesus.
Knoxville yet. If anybody follows me on Instagram, I put this all over my Instagram. Our very good buddy Leslie, that's a fucking workout and fitness guru and an expert and like a total pro runner and like just total understands like nutrition and fitness and like she's one of those people that like you feel bad about yourself when you hang out with them, yeah, she found the it's like the ketogenic coffee in the can. And it's that company called Bang, which if you go to like a Pilot or your grocery store, you're going to see a bunch of like energy drinks that say Bang, and they're actually not terrible because they're like zero sugar, a lot of them like no carbs in them. So again, if you have a problem with artificial sweetener, then go live in a fucking meadow somewhere. But in the real world, like if you're trying to avoid sugar, you wind up having to like get at things like this. But I've been seeing people like from California posting pictures online of this particular variety of this Bang canned drink, which was like ketogenic coffee, which has like a ton of protein in it. And it's got some like MCT oils and like aminos and stuff in them. And I couldn't find them anywhere around here because they're not in grocery stores. And Leslie sent me a picture and they were at I think it's Eddie's Health Shop. Do you know this place?
They're right there off Union.
Yeah, there's one off Union and apparently there's one out west right by Che Guevara.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly. So there's 2 locations in Knoxville, and they had all the stuff. They had the ketogenic coffee in the can, and it's like a big 15-ounce can. And they had like little MCT oil shots too, which are also blended with like espresso.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they look like a little bottle where you get like 5-hour energy, except it's brown. And you get a shot of espresso and some MCT oil, and it's real sharp. Like it tastes like you're drinking a laser.
What does MCT stand for?
Medium chain triglycerides.
Now, you told me about this, and I've actually recently gotten to the bulletproof coffee game,
Right.
which it's great for curbing like the snacking appetite in between like lunch and dinner for me. And whenever I looked at like medium chain triglycerides, because I was under the impression, like when you go to a physical and your triglycerides are through the roof, it's bad.
Different kinds of triglyceride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, long chain triglycerides are like what you get if you just sit around and eat just potato chips and just really gross, like oily stuff that's like super bad for you and like trans fats and that kind of thing. But shorter length triglycerides, like MCTs and things like that, are actually really good, and they burn easily. Your body goes to them. Again, I'm not a doctor, so research this shit online, but to my understanding, basically it's this insanely clean fuel that it burns, and it's like burning fat rather than burning carbs. And so this is the whole ketogenic diet thing, blah, 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 blah. Some people don't believe in it. Some people think it's unhealthy. It's the only diet that's ever worked for me that I've got any results out of. I've never been able to stick to another diet. I've never had a diet that didn't make me feel fucking like I was just like miserable and really, really, really like not getting. I was like, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Like I've been denied a lot of things. Like, like it made me feel like I kind of have whatever I want. I still have a bunch of really good stuff. Anyway, MCTs are a big part of that. But I started drinking what you call bulletproof coffee. When some people call bulletproof coffee, that's actually a phrase that was coined by a company called Bulletproof Coffee, which is this super fucking rich guy that he's got like so much money to do lab tests on and he'll even tell you it matters what kind of coffee you use. Like if you use a certain type of cheap coffee, then it's going to have mold toxins in it and you can't do it. And he was on the Rogan podcast. I think Rogan kind of proved that he was a little full of shit. Like most really good coffees, like Starbucks level bagged coffee and up probably doesn't have any mold toxins. So if you get relatively good coffee, you're
just don't do Folgers or Maxwell.
Yeah. So, or maybe just I think there's some other kind of shady ones. Like, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's like super into like Green Mountain coffee, but I don't really trust them. Like, you see the grocery stores are full of that shit. And they make K-Cups and they're based around here. I never had one that was very good. I think their coffee maybe is kind of shitty, but again, I don't know this for a fact, but you're supposed to start with a really good coffee. And then what a lot of people do is just put coconut oil in it. And then they, if they want to put some sweetener or something like that.
And butter, right? Grass-fed butter?
Depending, like you blend all that stuff up. They use the coconut oil to get the MCTs, okay, and then the grass-fed butter is also it has the certain type of enzymes that you only get. This is big. You only get it from like cows that ate grass.
Yeah.
If you just put regular fucking butter, it's not good for you. But you blend all that stuff up, and it makes you. And the way we used to make it at home, like again, I would actually make some coffee in a French press. And at the same, or maybe some espresso on the stovetop or something, and then I'd get the blender over there and I'd put all this shit in it. I'd put like, I actually had a jar of MCT oil, but you can use coconut oil, whatever, and then a big hunk of like grass-fed butter down in it, and then I would put a little bit of sea salt.
I heard Himalayan pink salt's good too.
That is too. And that's kind of what I've switched to now because it keeps your electrolytes up. Because if you do start looking at the no carb or low carb type eating and lifestyle and all that shit, you can easily get dehydrated real easily. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a fitness expert. I'm still fat. I'm still old. You know what? There's no miracle cure or any of this stuff. But just in terms of like if you want to feel better, but you're supposed to blend all that stuff up and it makes this real foamy, really potent coffee. And you can sweeten it to taste. It's no big deal. You could even put some raw cocoa in it if you kind of want to get like a mocha sort of a flavor. And you guys know I don't have any problem with Splenda. So I put that in as artificial sweetener. You get a crazy drink. And it's kind of like a meal replacement. It's not low calorie. It's high calorie. Like a big cup of bulletproof coffee is probably about 400 calories.
But it's also like a meal. Like you can
I
cut
feel
out
like
lunch
it is.
if you drink it.
I feel like you can because, well, depending. I mean, if you're like a little skinny person, you probably don't need to do that. But if you're trying to just like get your body to eat the fat off of itself and like not add a bunch more stuff, it's totally the way to go. And it's a cleaner, better form of energy for your brain. That's the first thing. I'll tell you, the first person I ever heard talking about the bulletproof coffee is the drummer for this insane metal band called Origin. If anybody doesn't know who Origin is, well, starters, if you're afraid of metal, don't even bother because it'll scare the piss out of you. Not because it's evil, it's just extreme. It's incredibly extreme. I find it tremendously impressive, and they're one of these things where I could just watch all day. So you can imagine the type of work a drummer in a band like that has to do. Just insane, like Herculean efforts, beyond like Olympiad, And this guy, every single day, he makes bulletproof coffee out on tour and drinks it. And I remember I was watching a video and I was like, are you kidding me? And the guy goes, yeah, it helps me play the blast beats. It helps me play all the complicated parts. It keeps me real tuned in.
It's good for whenever I drink it.
Super good for the brain.
It it feels like I used to feel when I took Adderall for
Really?
my ADD or ADHD.
Okay.
It makes me simmer down and focus.
It's supposed to add tremendous mental clarity and clean brain fuel. And the aside to it is it also helps your body get into ketosis, which is where it starts looking at fat to burn up for its fuel rather than carbs. And supposedly once it does that, you get a much cleaner, again, I'm not a doctor, research the shit online. We don't know. I know a lot of times people that try to do like low carb or no carb diets wind up eating way too much fat. And that can be bad for your liver. So it's not a one size fits all kind of a thing. But as far as the bulletproof coffee goes, I don't see any down unless you're just sensitive to caffeine.
Yeah.
And if you do have a normal diet that does have a fair amount of carbs in it and you do the bulletproof coffee, it's going to make you insanely hungry a couple hours down the road, which is fine. But I think it's rad. And yeah, Leslie helped me find in the can. So now you can have it like on the go. It's pretty cool, man.
Hunter, have you tried this before?
Yeah. I've done bulletproof coffee for a while. My mother-in-law introduced it to me before I'd even married Libby, and my biggest takeaway from it to start was, well, we did the coconut oil thing, and she knows all the fancy terms that you just threw out there, so she gave all of us at that house the breakdown of it. But coconut, I love, so I was on board with that. And then she mentioned the butter part, and I was like, out. Don't want. Yeah. That's disgusting.
Because it sounds weird, yeah.
It sounds so weird. I'm here to tell you, though, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Just try it once. It'll change your life. And don't panic if you shit yourself the first few times. Like, hardcore.
There is, refer to our episode, The Great Equalizer.
Yeah. Not
careful.
to be crass, but just to throw that out there, it's going to cleanse you.
The first, real 3 days of doing it, just once a day, every time after I drank it, it was like it would process and go through my whole system, and like 3 or 4 hours later, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, if you're not used to those medium chain triglycerides, the MCTs, if you're not used to that stuff, you kind of got to start light and build up until you get used to it.
I will say
it will loosen you up.
It loosened me up, but it was one of those like after I don't want to be gross, but after you're done, you just feel better. You're just like. It's almost like whenever you start a new diet.
Generally, that's any trip to the bathroom for me, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Anytime you start a new diet and you start eating healthier, you have those stomach problems where it's just like your body's pushing out all the nasty stuff that it doesn't want, like all the toxins and stuff it doesn't want in there because it has all this healthy food on top. And then after you go, you're like, you feel lighter, you feel more refreshed. Like you're just
generally eating cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. And again, this is not like, I'm not a health advocate. I'm definitely not a healthy person. Like it's not.
Eventually we will be though.
But you are a bulletproof.
I'm not trying to be like a role model for anybody like that. I still need to lose a lot of weight. I still need to go to the gym more. I don't go to the fucking gym ever now. Like I've been so busy. So again, I'm just saying if you are considering trying like the bulletproof coffee and like, I think it's rad, man. It does a lot for me and it helps me think, and it helps me. Guys are bad, I think, naturally at multitasking. And sometimes you have to do that in your day-to-day life. And this kind of helps me with that kind of stuff. So I dig it, man. I think it's pretty cool. And the fact that now you're not having to like clear off your whole counter and put all these ingredients out there and get a blender and then you make one round of it and then you have to do a whole sink full of dishes. And like that's kind of what sort of kept me away. But now you can get it in a K-cup. Yeah. You can get the ketogenic K-cups and now you get it in these cans and it's cold and it tastes great. Man, I think it's rad.
I think I'm going to do that. I like cold coffee way better than hot coffee.
Yeah, dude, check out Eddie's Health Shop. In 2 locations in Knoxville, one downtown, one out west, and you can get this stuff there. You can give it a shot. It's only like $2.99 for a big fucking can, and dude, it's great. If you want to use it as a meal replacement, dude. If you want to use it as a I'm pretty sure Leslie was looking at maybe like using it as a pre-workout, because she's already going to run like 50 miles anyway. Like,
well, it's interesting that you said that you don't go to the gym enough because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that. Because I need to start doing it as well. There's a lot of stuff that we can do and not have to worry about a gym membership. There's a lot of like...
It is.
You can go for a walk. You can go...
It's true. I'm bad at that. I have to have something like... Yeah. I have to have a punishment. Like I need to have like whatever my... I've got a membership to the Workout Anytime place. So it's 24 hours. There's never anybody there at night. It's great. But like... if I don't go 1 month, I need to still be charged for it. Otherwise I'll just go, well, I guess I could do something else. Things around the house. And like, I need there to be a place I go to do it, or I'm just not going to do it. I know that. I mean, I lift weights at home sometimes too. I've got like a couple dumbbells, and I like to make, like when I'm making coffee, as soon as I start brewing the coffee, I try to do as many curls as I can, until it gets done, just to fit it in wherever. Just little dumb shit like that. And I try to do my little yoga things and stretching.
Because see, I have a problem where I can't go run. Like I would love to run more,
right?
But I get shin splints really bad.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I can't run either. I've got all these fake parts in my legs and stuff. Literally, I'm not allowed to run. So
does the Anytime workout place have a pool for like swimming, doing laps?
Does not have a pool.
Okay.
So you'd have to go to one of these places. It's like a little bigger, like National Fitness or something. One of these places that has a contract, but they have pools and stuff.
That or I need to get a bike and just start biking.
It's another way to do it too. I mean, what I do is when I do cardio, I go to the gym. I just go on the bike. And again, I'm recovering from all these elaborate car accidents. And like, we didn't do an episode one day where I just talk about all the fucking car accidents, all the surgery I've had and shit. But like I'm very limited physically in what I can do. Like literally anything I do just hurts like fucking crazy. Yeah. Especially when you're working 1 million hours a week and whatnot. But like, I can get on the bike and that's zero impact. And I can stay on the bike for 20 or 30 minutes and then your heart rate gets up and then you go do weights. And then You're out of there.
I will say, think I'm a little afraid to start working out.
Why?
Full time? Because I'm afraid of what my body is now, what it's hiding for whenever I start losing weight.
Oh, shut up. Stop.
No, I've
Wait,
heard
what
people.
what does that mean? What do you mean?
You think,
like-
you think you're going to lose weight and you're just going to see like the outline of a demon or something in there?
No. But there's a lot of people who had.
There's going to be like a finger coming out, you know?
No, there's people who've had hernia.
What?
Where like their intestines have broken through their muscle wall and they start losing weight and then they notice it and it's been like that.
I'm
for
pretty
a while.
sure if you have a hernia that's bad enough, you'll notice it before you lose weight.
Well, I guess it hurts
because
like
you won't
shit.
be able to pick anything up. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I read an article. It was like I started working out and I found something was wrong with me.
Well,
or something.
I'm here to tell you, man. Like, again and again, like we're just talking about somebody like Leslie that's super healthy and like I mean, she runs so much. Like her, I was hanging out with her and I was just like, man, I bet your heart is like an actual superhero. You know, like I bet it's not afraid of shit. She goes, yeah, I don't know what's coming, but whatever it is, I'm ready for it. And I mean, that's great.
There. That's good.
Somebody like that, you know, like you don't have a whole lot to worry about. But I have never ever like been like, I'm going to go to the gym until I lose a bunch of weight. I don't go. For me, the benefit of going to the gym is just you feel good, and you feel good for like a day or two. It's just you feel good about getting your heart rate up and like straining your muscles and just a little thing like that. It makes you feel like oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel.
Well, also when you finish the set, it's like making your bed in the morning too. It's something simple that's accomplished. So
it totally like my
I go
favorite
for the same reasons.
I have such a hard time like getting my ass to the fucking gym, and it's really close to where I live too. I really don't have any excuses. I could walk there if I needed to, but it's just like after it always comes after a bunch of stuff, and you just want to sit down and like. But when I go and do my whole thing, like once I get in there and I'm doing it, I love it. I've got headphones or whatever. And I come out and it feels amazing to walk out of there. That is the best I feel almost ever, is walking out of there and going, oh man, and you just like really beat on yourself a little bit. Like it's awesome. But I've never ever been like, oh, I'm going to the gym to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, diet.
Yeah.
Like the what you eat has 70 to 80% to do with like your weight and how you look, way more than working out.
Yeah, working out is for general health.
I got to put up the pizza. I got to quit getting pizza. It's a killer for me.
I mean, I'll still eat pizza. I just scraped all the stuff off and I don't eat the crust, you know?
Just a bowl
What is it,
of
like a
pizza
keto
toppings.
pizza?
People make fucking fun of me so bad. Like, I'm just like, look, I
do that. I do that all the time
Trying
too.
to
Like
do
when
my
I'm
thing.
in the mood for it, but I need to skip on carbs because of bad blood sugar day, or
Yeah.
just like I've had my meals and there's
Yeah.
no excuse. Just even in a perfect day that way, the carb intake is not good for you
Yeah.
with the insulin to counteract it. So yeah, I used to get picked on all the time for that. Like maybe not bullied, but you know, your friends
Well-
like, what the fuck are you doing there?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm not going to eat it,
Oh, well.
but it tastes good.
First thing you got to do if you're trying to do anything good for yourself is don't fucking listen to what anybody else has to say about it, because there's always going to be some misery loves company. So there's always going to be some dick that like wants you to like go get dessert with them or something, you know, and they're going to see you eating a salad and go, what are you doing? What are you stupid? Well, you know, like just like in that Weird Al video for fat, you know, hey, what are you on some kind of diet? That what they teach you in that little sissy school of yours? You know, just fuck them. Let's try to do your thing.
No,
man.
don't fuck them. Don't
yeah.
talk to them. Don't take them on a date.
Don't have sex with them. But don't, you know, that's
Why did you take it there?
Why do we have to go? Yeah. You took it there.
I didn't take it there.
fuck you.
did.
You did too. You fucking took it there.
Get out.
But yeah, man, screw people. Just do your thing. And man, here's my kind of thing too. Is like the one part where I really, really don't do well, like trying to be on like a diet, is like I still drink. I still drink alcohol, and I like it a lot. So if I'm gonna,
I still love beer.
I'm trying not to do as much beer. I'm trying to, if I do anything, try to just like a cocktail, like a gin and tonic or something, which still tonic unless it's not diatonic. And it just sucks. But if I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna try to cheat there and not at Taco Bell at 3:00 in the morning. You know,
That talk about 3:00 in the morning though.
I know, especially after drinking. It's the greatest thing ever. It feels good to just give up.
Yeah.
But then you wake up and you feel like a truck is parked on top of you. It's fucking terrible.
I have noticed that with doing dieting and exercising and stuff, everybody has a thing that they do that works for them. And so when you start talking about what you want to do and what you think, because dieting's hard if you do something that makes you miserable, because you're more likely to be like, fuck this, and go back to your bad ways. So you got to find a diet that fits what the foods you like.
And anything you're trying to quit, whether it's smoking, whether it's fucking drinking, whether it's eating like an asshole, anything you try to quit, like once you get into it, it feels fucking amazing to like fall off the wagon. If you've been eating like super healthy and you've had like literally just like a chicken breast and a like handful of broccoli, if that's all you've had for dinner for 7 nights in a row, and you just start to feel sorry for yourself, and there's a psychological thing to it, that this is all discipline.
Yeah.
But like, and then if you just go, I deserve, I deserve a bag of McDonald's or whatever your thing was. I fucking deserve like a full pizza, and you just break down and eat it. It feels great to break down because you automatically start doing this thing where you go, I'll get back on track tomorrow. I'll have a cheat day. I'll get back on track tomorrow, which is fine to do that. But that's the lie that we tell ourselves. It's like, it's okay. And again, food is probably the least critical of those scenarios. If you're like a heroin user, you can't ever have a cheat day. If you're a recovering alcoholic, you can't have a cheat day.
Yeah.
If you're trying to quit smoking cigarettes, you can't have a cheat day. Those are things that the minute you open the door, even a little, they come flying back.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing too. It's like I'll talk about, I want to do a diet or, this or that. And I'll talk to multiple people about it. And everyone has like a different thing. It's like, yeah, I think I'm just going to like, instead of getting like potato chips at, for a snack, I'm going to buy like a thing of trail mix. Oh, peanuts are bad for you. And it's
trail mix is just as bad as chips.
And see, that's what I'm talking about.
It is. I mean, you've got to like, if you want to know
not all trail mix is bad as potato chips. You can find some that's unsalted and it's just nuts.
But that's just a bag of nuts. Trail mix typically has like M&Ms and raisins and all kinds of shit in it like that. So it's just like eating a big cup of sugar, basically.
Well, you can find ones that don't have M&Ms and it's just like pretzels and peanuts and almonds.
Like granola.
Yeah.
Straight up. But even then again, if depending on what it is, if it's got a bunch of like, if it's not just nuts, if it's like grains and stuff, then your carb count's through the roof.
Dude, macadamia nuts are actually really good.
But here's what
certain trail mix is just like drinking a beer.
Your diet's all about no carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but if I do a diet that has a little bit of carbs and I talk to you about it, all you want to do is talk about how I'm doing carbs. No, it's terrible for me.
Well, all I'm saying is that the perception that a bunch of stuff is healthy just because it's got natural ingredients.
Yeah, or it's organic.
Like that again. Again, I'm not a scientist, but what I have learned.
You said that so many times.
Because fucking, I don't want people to think I'm trying to tell them how to eat, and then they're going to see me and go, "You're fat and old."
You do know a lot of Japanese scientists, though.
I do.
Hey, and they love sauerkraut.
Hey, they talk like this. I'm about to go get some more scientific evidence. Oh,
what is it?
What I was going to say, if you're, and I understand that people that just go, man, some people say this, some people say that. Like, I just don't know what to do.
Do what makes you happy, because that's
ultimately do what makes you happy, because we're all dead in 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah,
like this is all over. Like you can't take it with you. It doesn't matter. And like the people that care don't care what you look like. For starters, this should be about 100% about how you feel, not about that. That's probably another thing we should mention here before you even consider putting the word diet in your vocabulary. Before you even think about like your appearance or like standing there looking in the mirror, beating yourself up or what the fuck ever, understand that don't ever do it to make somebody else happy. Don't ever do it because you're trying to like get that person's attention or like this person somehow didn't value you. And don't do it because you've got like unresolved issues from a past relationship. Somebody didn't appreciate you. And then they went and dated somebody way more attractive than you. And now you've got this big complex and like none of that shit is healthy. Mm-hmm. There's something wrong in there besides your diet. You need to get your self-esteem back. Like you need to understand that you're special, you're fucking great, and somebody appreciates you. And look to the people that are there week in and week out. Look at your friends and your mentors and the people that count on you. You're very important to them, and they don't think you look funny and they don't think you're ugly. And like the truth of the matter is that there's nothing wrong with any of you.
Yeah,
that's one thing. I remember there was a live video for King's X. And I won't go off on too much of a tangent, but like they were playing a live show and the singer is this fucking amazing guy named Doug Pinnick, and he plays bass and he sings and it's rad. And he's playing and they kind of do a breakdown in the middle of one of the songs. In fact, if you guys want to try to YouTube it, it's the King's X song "Believe," and it's a live version of it. And if you can find it, it's incredible. But the guy goes, he starts playing it. He goes, he said, "Believe it." He says, "Believe in yourself." He goes, "Now the media will tell you that there's something wrong with you. They'll say that you're too tall, you're too short, you're too thin, you're too fat. That you need to make your genitalia bigger. That you need to get something to grow the hair back on your head. And that blondes have more fun. And they will tell you that there's all this stuff wrong with you, and you need to fix it. And of course, conveniently, there's a credit card number attached to it. You know, like we can sell you a cure for yourself if you'll just in 3 easy installments. Of like, don't believe any of that shit. Like before you work out, before you diet, before whatever, you got to understand going into it, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Like in the real world, people look different. Not everybody's the same. Things come in all shapes and sizes, and that's my whole public service announcement. Yeah. But that's way more important to observe than your macros or your fitness goals or your dietary requirements, is to understand that your value. So let that always be your foundation. And the right person will love you no matter what you look like. Mm-hmm. The right person will love you regardless of if you're 5 pounds down that week or if how many days you went to the gym. Like they'll love you for who you are.
Right.
And that's got to be number one. But if you understand all that stuff and you're cool with yourself, and you're okay, or you're getting there. We're all kind of a work in progress. Like, I don't think anybody's 100% okay, but, you know, we're getting there. Then you can start looking at, like, what works for you, I think. So, again, it doesn't have to be low carb. It doesn't have to be, it could be vegan, you know, like, well, whatever.
My thing is just saying, if you're doing a diet, if you're just eating better, don't let someone tell you, oh, that's the wrong way to do it. If you're eating better and you're just improving, keep going. Keep trucking.
That's true. And I think it comes down to like who you are and your level of activity.
Yeah.
So for instance, I have a very, very like, again, I can't run. I can't do all these insane workouts. And I don't have time to either. So most of my days are spent like being stressed out, being stuck at work, working insane hours, and then getting off work and then working on other things like the cable business or the podcast or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not typically walking 1 million miles a week or anything. So something where I need something that's low carb. You know what I'm saying? If somebody like I said, I keep using Leslie as an example, or somebody that's active. If you're doing a ton of cardio, if you're running or swimming or biking like a lot, you don't want a 0 carb diet. At that point, you want to maybe like do like I would recommend the paleo diet, which is where it's kind of like the keto diet, except it's everything's still all natural. I think there's still no gluten or anything in it, but you get like you can have fruit, you get some carbs in there. Like there's some like natural energy because you're doing stuff. So yeah. I'd say what kind of a carb diet you go on depends on A, if you have like a condition like Hunter, which is diabetic, or B, if your level of activity. The lower your level of activity, you need to maybe go on the keto side of things. If your level of activity is very high, then
you definitely want to carb up.
Yeah, carb up. Do paleo or whatever. And if you're like going to an insane fucking marathon runner, you need all the carbs you can get. Just load up on spaghetti. You're going to burn that shit off anyway.
Just check out Dwayne Johnson's Instagram. That dude's huge as fuck, and he does like 15 pancakes.
Oh yeah,
and 12.
Yeah, there's a level of activity where you almost can't get enough calories.
Yeah,
and you'll get them any way you can. You'll just eat pancakes and pizzas and like marathon runners. Like I've seen a van pull up and just hand them a whole pizza and they eat it while they're running.
Well, surprisingly enough, I used to run cross country in high school, and the night before a big track meet, I would eat nothing but plain noodles with like olive oil and salt and pepper, and I would just carb up, and then the next day go meet at the track and take off running.
Damn right. So again, do what fucking do whatever you want. I will say I do have kind of a fun story about me like cooking, trying to cook at home. Like that one of my big things is not just drinking bulletproof coffee and not just trying to like diet a little bit. One of my big things is avoiding all of my weaknesses with food. And I got a lot of
fast food's hard for me to
It's hard for me because it's so convenient.
Yeah.
When you're fucking tired and it's 2:00 in the morning and there's a drive-through open and you don't have any clean dishes, you don't have any groceries, and you got to be back up in 4 hours.
It'll spike your carb intake hardcore. That's my weak spot there.
Well, yeah, and you haven't eaten. Say you haven't eaten in like 12 hours or something, and this is your one chance to eat. And if you could keep your eyes open long enough to finish your meal, like that kind of a thing, that makes it hard to go, well, I need to spend 30 minutes doing meal prep. It doesn't work like that. And that's one of the weaknesses. My lifestyle very, very, very much supports like fast food.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's your only shot. So I'm trying to avoid reasons to do things like that. So I was at Kroger. Okay. Here, I was at the Kroger out in North Knoxville, a brand new one. And I was going around getting a couple of things. Most of these days, I live on like late at night. I just live on like pork rinds. But they have this new area. It looks like a big freezer or something, and it's got about 6 or 7 bays in it, and it closes. And it almost looks like a big, huge version of one of those like candy things where you have a scoop and you can scoop your own candy and whatever you want. Except it's like ready to cook meals. and I think they're like $7.99 a pound. Okay, and you get this big like fucking container. It's kind of like a mini bucket. Okay, and it's all frozen, and literally you open them up and scoop whatever you want into your bucket. Put a lid on it. You take it home, and whenever you freeze it, or you keep it in the freezer. Whenever you're ready to cook it, you put it in a skillet. It's got to be a covered skillet, 8 to 12 minutes, and you've got a completely a totally contained meal.
Really?
Yes.
That's
and
super
I
weird.
tried it. I was like, man, I don't know. And all the nutritional information there, so I found one that worked for me. It was like a chicken tikka masala. Here's what's weird about it: everything's frozen into these big balls. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're scooping. It's kind of like scooping a fucking cat tray.
don't no.
Like
The big pea clump?
dude.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all like the size of the big pea clumps in your cat tray.
Jesus.
And it's these weird, but even though there's all these different ingredients, and it's going to eventually wind up being like a stew or like a plate of food or whatever. It's these big balls, these big frozen balls, and you fucking scoop them up. And when you're doing it, you're just thinking like, how is this going to be a meal? How is this going to actually turn into a meal? But it does. As soon as you get them heated up, they melt and they all turn into this.
How does it work as a say I go to Kroger and I get one. I go home tonight. I cook it up. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
But I want to save it for work. Can I put it in a to-go container and reheat it?
You probably could put it back in the same container and just reheat it later at work. Yeah.
Would reheating it be okay, do you
Sure.
think? Okay.
I mean, once it's cooked. Yeah.
I just didn't know. It seems like one of those things that's it's cooked, frozen,
Right.
And then when you recook it and then go and reheat it,
Well, I don't even know if it's actually even. Yeah, it must be already cooked if you're only doing 12 minutes because some of them have chicken and stuff in them. But yeah, it's neat. The weirdest thing though is that you're turning these big frozen and they're colored too. They're like red and all these different colors. These big frozen balls, and you're putting them in a skillet and turning them into like a plate of food.
That's space aging.
$7.99 a pound is not bad.
It's not, and I'm here to tell you, the one I got, it tasted like it was as good as anything I've ever had at a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. It was really, really good. Not just like, it's okay for this frozen. I mean, it tasted like somebody that knew how to cook.
Well,
cooked
it probably comes from the hot, what is it? The hot bar that Kroger has,
Yeah,
where
maybe.
those people make. It's probably
cryogenically treated
Yeah.
into these
Yeah.
space balls. Just go check it out. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. And there's a lot. There's some that have rice, and there's like chicken gumbo and blah, blah. I mean, but it's like relatively elaborate dishes. It's not just like crap. Like sludge,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, see, I've been having struggles with working graveyard of how to do it. Like, I even Googled a couple articles, and a lot of the articles say don't eat a meal while you're at work when you work graveyard. They say eat big meals before and after. In that way, and then while you're at work, snack on healthy stuff to keep your metabolism going, but not to do a full meal that late at night.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't think there's necessarily
That's
a right
weird
or-
to me though, because the nighttime thing doesn't have anything to do with your digestion. That's
It's
like
before you
just
go
when
to
you're
bed.
sleeping. Yeah. So I
Well,
don't-
one thing that's
weird.
that a lot of people are doing these days, and this is proven, that's really good for you, is to like have a big intermittent fast so like what I would do is
like 12, 15 hours.
or
kind of thing.
10 minimum 10. You know what I mean? Or there should be if you
I know
can.
some people do 8. There's just like 8-hour gap they don't eat during the day.
It's better if it's 10.
Okay.
It's actually better if it's 15. The longer you go, the better it is, and your body does all these amazing things. It starts to do all kinds of cool stuff. But you can't have anything in that period, and even coffee. You can't have even bulletproof coffee. You can't have anything but water. But if you can figure out how to do that, I know like a couple hours before bed, a couple hours after you wake up, it works great. Pretty neat. It's weird for me. I was doing it for a while, like real strict, and like it was weird to wake up and not have coffee. And know that I couldn't, like, if I came home late and ate something at like 2 a.m., then I couldn't have anything until 2 p.m. the next day. And I would just drink water, and it was weird. But man, near the end of that, you feel awesome. So that I would say that. I would look at what I would decide for you overnight. Instead of, like, when you're trying to decide if you're going to eat, I would look at, like, whenever you're 10 hours away from your next meal, I'd stop eating. And a lot of times you feel like, well, I went to bed hungry, but that's okay. It's better to go to bed hungry than go to bed full. It's better to wake up and eat.
When I'm hungry before going to bed, like if I'm hungry and want to eat something, usually I'll just chug a bottle of water and kind of fill myself up with water and then go to bed. Usually I wake up 6 hours later into my sleep, like dead asleep, just like, like a zombie, and be like, I gotta pee.
Yeah.
But I'm not hungry. So
Yeah.
Dude, I've started using like water in place of a lot of stuff. Like Like I was trying to eat like that low carb ice cream for a little while, and there's actually a version that's really, really good, but it's still not good for you. You know what I mean?
I feel like if someone we need to talk to about eating low carb is a person that hasn't said much this episode. Hunter, what is it like eating low carb?
Yeah,
It's nice.
But what do you do? Like, how do you avoid it? I know you have to avoid it medically.
this has been like a thing for you for a really long time.
Yeah. The main thing, because my diet otherwise, all I try to do is avoid high carb intake at any point. So there's no, like, I eat a bunch of shit, but it's all like meat and cheese rolled up in some kind of dressing, maybe that's light and stuff, and a lot of salad, like spinach and spring mixes. Switching from, just on an artificial sweetener level alone, switching from soda, which I do still drink, but Libby kind of booted me off of, hardcore, to water, tea, and coffee does wonders there. But you guys already do that part. There is a bread that you can get at Kroger called, I think it's Healthy Choice or something like that. It's in a, you can't miss it. It's in a big white bag with the regular breads. And it has a net carb versus total carb intake thing where it like breaks down the fibers in your body and like what your body actually processes carbohydrate wise. And I use this for sandwiches.
That's really
the
I didn't
whole
know.
wheat one is where the standard bread piece is anywhere from 12 to 15 carbs. This stuff, the net carb that your body has to process, which translation for me is what I would have to account for insulin with, is 5 per slice.
Not bad.
So on my personal insulin dosage, every 10 carbs, I have to take a single unit of insulin.
Yeah.
So I can do 2 sandwiches and, you have to take the insulin for me, but it's essentially, if you looked at the syringe, the size of the units, it's basically like taking
this is
nothing.
This is a good segue into,
you have to find ways to cheat.
Talking about net carbs versus carbs. Why don't you explain what that is? Because that's a big one. A lot of people are like, I don't get but some things, if they have enough like fiber, cancel out some of the carbs. So that's another reason that like fruit is totally good to go on like the paleo diet. Is fruit has, if you eat the actual fruit and not the juice, fruit has a ton of fiber, and you get all that fiber and it cancels out some of the sugars.
Yeah,
so
it breaks it down with dietary fiber. So it's just what you said though. The carb intake is really important, more important than cholesterol and fat and all that stuff, and that they tell you to count anyways. We've talked about this before. It's just easier to count, so that's how they fuck you. But with carbs, and I really only understand it with the bread. I haven't done any deep research on how to measure it and other things, but the fibers do cancel out the majority of the carbs, and the net carb is what your body then has to burn off later, which is where insulin comes in with everybody. And the only difference for me is that I have to inject it. But that's where your body starts pumping chemicals into itself, which sounds bad, natural chemicals. But the net carb is what your body has to fight. And the other carbs are completely burned away by the other ingredients.
And you need fiber. You've got to have fiber in your colon and in your digestive tract, or you'll have all kinds of stomach problems, and digestive problems, and all kinds of stuff. Like you've got to have enough fiber, and that can be tricky. Is getting the fiber without just carbing up like crazy. So that's what they mean by net
I've started
carbs.
eating a shit ton of celery.
Oh yeah,
that's really
that's good fiber, right?
Yeah. Good in fiber. It's basically fiber and water.
And you also lose weight while eating it because there's so little.
So much water, and it's celluloid. Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of neat little tricks. Like if you're like, man, I'm such a fucking chips and salsa fanatic. I literally like that's something somebody has to take away from me. If it's good, like at Che Guevara, the chips and salsa are so good. I will eat them until I just pass out.
That's where taking the time when you're at the store to research the stuff that you're getting, because again, I don't cheat on the stuff. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I love big flavor stuff all the time.
Sure.
So like with PB&J though, you slap all that stuff on top of regular bread and you're fucked, especially for me.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to find, and you have to look at the back of all the bottles and, until you track it down. But there are like 2 places, and I can't remember the brands, otherwise I'd shout them out. They might even be the generic ones. Whatever. There's peanut butter that you can get that has like 3 to 4 carbs per dosage.
Is it like the natural, like the Smuckers or something?
No.
Okay.
It's not that. that stuff's not bad. It's not as bad as the others, but it's like in between the natural stuff. But there are ones that are that low.
Yeah.
So, and there's jelly and jam that's that low as well. So I can make those sandwiches.
So you could totally have like a low carb fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, that's great news.
You don't
to me.
sacrifice flavor.
I love peanut butter and jelly, and
Yeah.
I've sacrificed a lot of that just thinking,
I'll send you a picture.
send it to me. I'd love to know.
But that's I only get that stuff.
You can
now.
also, if you have a relatively okay, and I'm not one of these guys that thinks you have to go to like Whole Foods all the time and Earth Fare. Like I think you can go to like Kroger and Food City and find plenty of healthy options, just wherever you like to go. Again, most of everybody's day, and again, we come back to this thing where like your day is so composed of routine. Like we've all still got to get to work. You've got to pick the kids up. You've got to go have this meeting. You've got to get an oil change for the car. Like, it's complicated. And so I would say, again, just like the diet, find what works for you. Find a store that you like. Like I think once you go to one store enough times, you know where everything is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And trying to go out of your way to another store, you're lost in there. So find a place that works for you. But a lot of stores, your grocery stores locally, even chain stores, will make their own peanut butter, like natural peanut butter and almond butter, and they have like a pretty good like healthy fats, and they don't have any sugar added. And they still taste pretty okay.
Jif has an almond butter now. It's a little small thing of it, and it's not bad. You can tell there's no sugar added.
And again, my favorite peanut butter of all time was the Jif Natural.
Yeah, they still make that.
Oh, I love it so much. But it's a bag of sugar.
Oh.
That's the thing.
Here's another thing. When you talked about meats and cheeses, something that my roommate showed me is taking. I don't know if this is healthy for you or not, but taking salami and then putting cream cheese on it and rolling it up.
Yeah, put a pickle in it.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But
I live on that shit. I'll buy just big slabs of sandwich meat.
That's delicious, and the cream cheese is the worst thing in it, and it's not bad.
Yeah, and again, it's no carbs, so you're getting fat. But again, you got to know what you're doing. But or sometimes I'll use like a store made like pimento cheese or something like that, or like Havarti cheese. Spread that on it, roll it up. Oh, it's great.
that seems like a good snack.
So good.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of protein in it. It's got good fats in it,
and also anything pickled. Pickled okra, pickled beets. I'll eat that right out of the jar.
I keep a jar of pickle spears, and then I just roll them up in that and gobble 2 or 3 of those. It's great. And super not again, eating a ton of bread right before bed is fucking the worst.
It does sate your hunger too. Those snacks that we've just been talking about. Yeah. So on top of all the other things that it's good for, it's not empty.
Yeah,
you
like
won't
4 or
be
5
starving
of those
in an hour.
pieces of salami rolled up. Eating those,
they make
I'm
chips.
full.
They make chips now where the chips are actually cheese. They're baked cheese, and you can sit there all day and eat salsa for those. And they're like made out of like
be careful with those,
cheddar.
though. Be careful with
like your cheese taco shells.
Well, that was a fucking mess. But these are like store made, and they're awesome.
I got super excited about that because I was like, finally chips, and I don't have to take insulin for it.
Yeah.
And we checked the bag, and I don't remember which one it was that I looked at, but it had more carbs than
you
standard
gotta watch
chips.
out.
So you got to be super careful.
Well, I found dehydrated green beans.
I bet that's good.
And they have like a Caesar flavoring to it. I've not looked at the back before.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, oh, dehydrated green beans, that can be terrible for me. Those are really good, but
anybody will tell you if you're just trying to lose weight, calories in, calories out will always work every single time. As long as you're burning more than you take in, you'll lose weight. Scientifically, it's impossible not to. That's it. But again, if portion control is not your thing, and it's definitely not my thing. Like when I'm hungry, I'm fucking hungry, and I want to eat. And especially if I felt like I've kind of starved myself all day, and I'm coming home, like I want to relax and eat until I'm full. Yeah, and for me, something like a balanced diet with a low calorie count and like this weird microwave dinner that's got, like a balanced version of everything in it, but you feel like it's basically a fucking snack, that doesn't work for me. Like I need to be able to eat until I really feel full with certain things. So that's why I'll do things like low carb stuff,
Yeah.
So you can on that diet, you can eat like meat and cheese until you fucking pass out, until you're so full.
Don't challenge me to that. I'll do it.
I'm just saying. Steak. Think of all that. You can do steak and all kinds of.
Remember, guys, Central Depot,
steak and broccoli.
February 13th.
Oh my God!
Watch Casey eat meat and cheese until he passes out on stage.
Right. Casey and I are gonna have a meat and cheese eating contest. I kind of feel bad that we talked about nutrition and dieting and shit this whole episode. Nobody wants to hear about that shit.
Yeah, they do. They want to hear what we have to say.
I feel so bad.
Some people might want to hear the most unhealthiest people talk about.
You know what? Next week,
people know now that I've been on a diet, and they like people will be like trying to get together to go do stuff, and they'll go, "Hey, do you want to go eat? Well, wait, where can you go eat?" And I'm like, "Don't do that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'll find something. I don't ever want to be like Like,
Just get used to it. That's my whole life. Can you do? You can't do. You can do this. Can you? Can you?
I
Can't.
feel
like,
so. I don't.
I've never let it stop me from hanging out with you.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. You even got me a pound of sugar for my birthday.
That's right.
Fucking handed you a death warrant right there, right across the fucking table.
It was so good.
Your birthday present was taped to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm having regrets. I feel like I talked too much in this episode.
You did
I
not.
think you did. I think you did great.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Well, guys, to wrap up here, just another reminder: February 13th, live show, Central Depot.
Do what
Teaser
makes you
Brewery.
happy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Including
awesome.
go there.
Yeah, including coming to our live event. Yeah, I want to add that too, like that whole speech I made about the self-esteem. And I will say this, before you look at calories and carbs and exercise and all that kind of stuff, please go back to the part of this where we talked about your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. That's the most important thing ever. And also understand that it's totally going to go away if you don't come see us live. And
That's right.
If you don't
we'll
contribute
just
to
shit
this,
on you for the rest of ever.
Good luck having a happy life if you don't support our podcast.
You guys are jerks.
Oh my.